This is our Westminster greenhouse. It's the smallest of our range and it's designed for little spaces just like this one here. Now, we don't believe just because you've got to go for a little greenhouse that you ought to have to compromise on the quality. So the framework in here is the same as we use on our bigger mini greenhouses. It's architectural aluminium and it's got a 25-year guarantee on it. Now this particular one has been powder coated, so we've got a colour on there. We've got the option of 6 different colours in the range, or you can just have the silver finish, the natural aluminium finish. The mini greenhouse is glazed with toughened safety glass, 4mm toughened safety glass, the same as you'd get in your house windows. The reason we use the glass is very strong and very safe, so it stands up to the high winds and it stands up to the snow, but also glass retains heat much better than perspex, and that's really important. Early in the growing season you want as much warmth in the mini greenhouse as you can possibly have. Now when we look at the footprint of the Westminster, you can see that actually ground space wise it only takes up about 4 seed trays worth of space. But because we've got all of this shelving in here, we've got plenty of growing room and we've got lots of versatile growing space. Inside the mini greenhouse we've got 5 seed tray shelves. So that gives us plenty of capacity for our seed trays, for our pots, even though we're only taking up a very small ground space. Now if you look closely you'll see that at the back of the mini greenhouse we've got this series of holes in the back strut, and that allows us to change the height of the shelves depending on what crops we're growing. If we don't want to use the shelves at all, we can even either drop the shelves flat against the back, or we can actually lift them right out to give us more growing space in there. Now with the shelves you can see that they consist of these slim aluminium bars. What we're doing with the shelves is we're trying to make them strong enough to take the weight of the seed trays, but we're also very conscious that we don't want too much shadowing. Where we've got no plants, the light is able to get down to the lower levels, and that's really important. If we just use solid shelves, then progressively as we went lower and lower there'll be less and less light and we get to the point where nothing could grow, which obviously is counterproductive. The other thing that's unique about the Access mini greenhouses is this sliding door arrangement. This gives us very easy access into the mini greenhouse, but it also means that there's no hinged doors to flap in the wind, there's no doors that need extra space to allow you to open them. But with these sliding doors we've got very easy access, but we've also got very good ventilation. On a hot summer's day we can have the panels wide open, we can even slide the roof glass to let the hot air vent out through the roof. But it's early on in the year that the ventilation system really comes into its own. See, early in the year, if we have perhaps a nice day in February and the sun comes out, we can open the glass up just an inch or so. We're letting the air move around inside the mini greenhouse, so we're not getting disease problems inside the mini greenhouse, and we're still keeping it nice and warm because we've only got a little amount of trickle ventilation. And in the evening time when the sun's gone in, we can then slide the doors back and it's nicely closed. It's protected against the wind and the rain and nice and snug in there. The Westminster greenhouse can be used all year round. Early on in the year, February time, we can start planting some seedlings in there, or we can go to the garden centre and we can get those young, small plug plants when they're a lot cheaper than later on in the season, and we can then grow them on in the mini greenhouse. When we get to May time, a lot of those crops will have gone outside and we can then continue with Mediterranean crops, maybe herbs in there, or things like chilies or peppers that are not too big but are going to benefit from being under the glass. If we want to do tomatoes, we can do that. We just need to remove some shelves to give us a little bit more height, and maybe we need to do a bit more pruning of the leaves to make sure they're not too big and too bushy in the Westminster. When we get to the autumn time, we can do autumn planting, we can plant vegetable crops for next year, or we can plant things like salad crops and have salad crops cropping right up till Christmas. We can also put some bulbs in there and have some bulbs at Christmas time, and even if you want to, a small tub of potatoes planted earlier in the year will allow you to have new potatoes for Christmas, which are delicious. And of course you can also overwinter things like geraniums in there, or if you have a little bit of warmth in there, then we can have fuchsias in there as well and take those things through the winter. So for 12 months of the year we can be being productive with our Westminster mini greenhouse.